Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 18th, 2018. Nick Harrison here on the Nick Harrison Podcast, a subsidiary of RealCelebrityNews.com.
Pop culture, entertainment, celebrity news, and more. Broadcasting hot and heavy from the great state of North Carolina. And adding a biased opinion, of course, you can find it all here and now. Because it's time for the Nick Harrison Podcast.
Again, good Thursday morning. Did you catch that rooster? Here it is. Good morning. Nick Harrison here on the Nick Harrison Podcast in partnership with RealCelebrityNews.com. We're going to talk about some celebrity news for your Thursday.
Lights, cameras, action.
Hey, welcome to Hollywood.
What's new in celebrity news?
So, Jonathon Bennett, do we know who he is? He is stars in Mean Girls, Dancing with the Stars. He's been in that. Van Wilder, he's the main character in Van Wilder. That should give it away to a lot of you younger people. He's in Cheaper by the Dozen 2, and he's the host of Cake Wars on, I believe it's the Food Network. So anyways, Mark Wright with Extra TV sat down with Jonathon Bennett at Universal Studios Hollywood, where he promoted his new cookbook called The Burn Cookbook. The book is a parody cookbook for fans of his hit movie Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams. As for how the cookbook name came about, Jonathon shared, quote, "One day I'm in the kitchen with my friend and we're making guacamole. She puts apples and pomegranate seeds in the guacamole, and I go, wow, this is delicious. She goes, it's not regular guac, it's cool guac." It's a famous line that Amy Poehler says in Mean Girls. So there's that on his new cookbook. The TV show Gold Rush Season 9 premiere, that was last week on October 12th. It premiered Season 9. The first look, this isn't really a news story, but the first look, the first clip of that episode, Parker and Tony are not quite seeing eye to eye on mining. Some expletives are exchanged during their heated conversation. You'll just have to watch it to see. It comes on Friday nights on the Discovery Channel. The front man for the band Korn, his name is Jonathon Davis. His wife has passed away, and after 2 months after her passing, more details have been released. Her death has been ruled accidental. TMZ reported that Davis died from a lethal combination of drugs, including cocaine, clonazepam, topiramate, and fluoxetine. In August, Devin Davis, that's Jonathon Davis's wife, she's 39 years old, was found dead at a Bakersfield hotel. At around the same time, Jonathon had filed a request for a domestic violence restraining order against her. Following her death, Jonathon wrote on Instagram, quote, "Over the past decade, my wife has been very, very sick. She had a serious mental illness, and her addiction was a side effect. I loved her with all of my being. She was her true self. She was an amazing wife, amazing mother, and amazing friend. Devin had a huge heart, and she would never intentionally hurt her children or anyone that she loved."
You are listening to
The Nick Harrison Podcast.
Channing Tatum, I'm sure all the females especially know who he is. Months after his split with Jenna Dewan, rumors are swirling about Channing Tatum's love life. Us Weekly reports that Channing Tatum, 38 years old, has been dating singer Jessie J, 30 years old, for several months. A source shared, quote, "It's new, casual, and they're having fun together." Channing has been spotted at several of Jessie's concerts in Seattle and Salt Lake City. To fuel more rumors, a Twitter user tweeted, quote, "Who knew a mini golf job could be so crazy? Tonight I had to watch one of my ex-professors make out with his fiance. Then my co-worker cut his hand open and had to go to the hospital. And finally, Jessie J and Channing Tatum came in to play around." The user added, "LOL, they were hella nice. Jessie came down and I was shook. And then when I got to get them to play, Channing turned around and I was like," and that's how he ends the tweet. "We hugged and got a pic, and then I got to hear Jessie singing Somebody to Love with the radio at the end of the course. It's unknown when the two met, but they did embrace on stage when she presented him with the Best Comedic Performance Award at the 2015 MTV Movie Awards. It appears that Jenna is trying to move on from Channing. A source recently shared with People magazine that Jenna has been on a few dates but doesn't talk about a boyfriend. Jenna is busy working and going back and forth between Los Angeles and Atlanta. She's in a really great place. Shawn Mendes has injured his eye. Extra TV's employee Renee Barg spoke with Shawn Mendes on the red carpet at the 2018 American Music Red Carpet, where he opened up about his recent eye surgery. Of what happened, Mendes shared that, quote, "I fell off of one of those electric scooters. I was trying to do a trick. My friend was behind me and was like, 'Can you do this?' And I tried to copy him." He then added that, quote, "I messed up my hands, but it's all kind of healed. I have scars." Renee also chatted with John Stamos, who gushed about his 6-month-old son. You'd have to watch the full video on extratv.com. That's where this source is cited from. Ariana Grande, another big person that we're well known about. Her and Pete Davidson are done as a couple, and their engagement has officially been called off. Sources that are close to the former couple tell us that Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson split up last weekend, with both parties acknowledging that it was simply not the right time for their relationship to take off. We're told that the two still have love for each other, but things are indeed over romantically. Ariana and Pete announced their surprise engagement earlier this year in May, just a few weeks after they were reported to be casually dating. TMZ first broke the story. Ariana Grande's engagement ring cost right around $100,000. Big money. Ariana Grande's recently expressed that she was going through a rough patch, tweeting a lot of personal messages and saying that she needs a break from the public spotlight, and asked, "Can I please have one okay day? Just one okay day, please." As for Pete Davidson, he continued to appear on Saturday Night Live, even mentioning his former fiancée in a couple of sketches. The last time we saw them together was just last week. Our source says that while things may be done for the couple now, the two aren't ruling out the possibility of anything in the future.
The Nick Harrison Podcast.
So, two Titans shared the stage this past Saturday night as the King of Toronto brought out the newly minted King of Los Angeles. That's right, Drake invited LeBron James on stage with Travis Scott at the Los Angeles Staples Center during his Aubrey and the Three Amigos tour. The trio jumped and danced while performing Drake and Travis's hit song Sicko Mode off of Travis Scott's new album Astroworld. Drake recently sat down with LeBron on his show The Shop with Maverick Carter. Drake talked about his trip to Wyoming to work with Kanye on an album and the beef between Kanye and Pusha T that followed. That's all the news that I have for today on Thursday, October 18th, 2018. I want to remind you that you can find this story, all these stories that I've mentioned, and more on our website, www.realcelebritynews.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the handle Real News Source. That's Real News Source. You can find the links to those directly from our website. One last thing, I want to remind you that the Hyena Hotline is our voicemail box set up 24/7 to receive your calls. You can whine about whatever you want, discuss your opinions on topics that we have covered, and we will feature your voicemail on the next episode of the Nick Harrison Podcast. So that voicemail line, 980-354-1246. That's 980-354-1246. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review on this episode. I'll be back soon. Have a great Thursday.
You have reached the end of another episode of the Nick Harrison Podcast. For more news and current events, visit us online at www.realcelebritynews.com. Don't forget to leave a review on this episode and subscribe to the podcast feed.